Well, Emma's probably the hardest trainer that I've ever met. I mean, Alistair and Johnny Brownlee train super hard. She rivals them. Emma's, the little things for Emma are the things she needs to work on more, which she's slowly doing over time. But it takes time because she came to the sport in, 2012. She was a complete beginner, thrown right in at the deep end. Everything happened really fast, but it does take time to be the absolute best. And Emma she's getting there, but it's just going to take time. So she's working on aerodynamics now. She's now listening about precision hydration, how it really works for you. She's also doing supplements after training, like protein supplements. These are things that take time to do. She's starting to do, and that will take her to that next level. Yeah, well, I was out doing a nice easy ride in Richmond Park. It was very similar like today, and I was right next to my friend, and we came to one of the steep hills which was going down, and we weren't speeding at all, we were going at the speed limit, and suddenly out of nowhere I just saw a deer, and it basically collided with me. It sent me flying, and at one point it actually landed kind of on top of it, but he headbutted me and sent me to the floor, and I banged my hip. And at the time I was fine, I thought, yeah, I'm fine. But then I realised that I couldn't move my leg. And 2 hours later, an ambulance came because someone said that I'd been kicked by a deer. And then they said to me, I don't think you've broken your pelvis, but I reckon you've just wrenched it. But then when I got to the hospital, they said your pelvis is broken and it's going to be 6 weeks of no weight bearing. So here I am in a wheelchair, and I have 3 more days left, and hopefully I'll be able to weight bear. I can crutch, so it's not like I'm stuck in this. I can get around. At the moment, it's all weight bearing off my bones, and it's healing. Definitely the worst injury I've ever had. I mean, I fractured my ankle like 3 or 4 times because I had a muscle that was weak, and every time I trained, it used to pinch and sort of give me a little crack in the bone. And at the time, I thought that was quite serious until I broke my pelvis, and I realised that this is serious now, and I almost was going to have an operation, some bolts put in, but I managed. The doctor said, look, do you know what, you probably don't need it, because it's like you have a ball, you throw the ball against a window, it smashes, but it's all in one piece, so you're okay, it will heal naturally. But yeah, definitely the worst injury I've ever had. It hasn't been too bad, the recovery, because luckily I've got a good wife that sort of carts me around everywhere. I've got a little bow at home, she comes running, which is nice. But I've also got magic as well, so I'm trained to be a magician.
I'm trying to think of an event where we can like book this shit.
Yeah, I know. Say stop. Stop.
Stop.
Have you got a kids party coming up?
Got the cards?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Give them a shuffle. You like this one? This is a good video. Okay, right. Now I want you to split the deck. Yeah. Split the deck. And then that's your card right there.
No.
Oh. Okay, it's that one. It's that one. It's that one.
No.
Oh, do you know what? Because I know I've got a little friend that can help me find magic cards. Okay, is that your card there, Ron? Is that one?
Yeah, but on my computer.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, there we go.
So this is
One year I did the London Triathlon as a relay team, so I had the Gadget Man and the Magic Man. And the Magic Man's name was Max Somerset. His magic name is Maximilian. He did some amazing magic tricks on me. He does it for a living. And I was gobsmacked. I was like, this is amazing. How do I learn? He wouldn't tell me anything. It was like a secret world. But for one whole year, he would not say anything. And then he came to my house one day and said, by the way, Stuart, the end of your road is the biggest magic store in the UK. I mean, the other day I was in there and Dynamo was in there. His name's Stephen. I didn't know this. And they just showed me magic. I learned some magic. I've been going on YouTube practicing the magic, and it's just gone from there. And the guy that was actually in the store used to be a professional heptathlete, and he had a back operation and had to have major back surgery, a bit like Michelle, a triple fusion. And that was his career gone, and he needed something else in his life, and he found magic. And it's kind of like me. I've come to the end of my career as a triathlete. I still coach, I still train, but I need something to challenge me, and I find the magic does that. It challenges me. There's always new stuff to learn. It's like being a triathlete again, but in the magic world. And I've realised I'm right at the very bottom. I'm like a beginner triathlete, beginner magician. Well, the most famous person I've done it for is actually Usain Bolt. I was in a nightclub in Thailand. I knew he was going, Chris McCormack had something to do with it, and so we turned up towards the end of the night, and there he was in the corner, but we didn't have an invitation. So I did a trick with fire, which got his attention. He pulled me over, and the security tried to grab me, but he says, no, it's fine, they can stay. Then he goes, okay, give us a trick. So I gave him 3 tricks, and then he slipped Michelle $100 on the side, and we had free drinks all night. So that's the most famous person. I've also done a show for the Prince of Bahrain as well. He allowed me to do 3 tricks for him in an audience of 60, so that's like my biggest ever show. The worst injury I ever had from magic was actually, I thought I got fire paper in my face. So basically, the trick I did for Usain, I did some fire. You have to use like fire paper because it's very flammable, it goes up really fast. And that evening I was rubbing my eyes, and I woke up in the morning and I thought I had rubbed it in my eyes. I thought it was like poisonous or it can make you go blind, so I started freaking out. And I went to the hospital and they had to rinse my eyes out, but then I found out it wasn't that, it was an infection from getting a little bug in the back. So that's my worst ever magic injury, but I've also cut my fingers as well. Well, Emma's going to be cut in half and Michelle's going to be the beautiful assistant on the side. So she's going to pass me the swords and I'm going to do the soaring. And poor Emma, yeah. Magic does go wrong as well, so we're going to have to be careful, especially while she's an athlete. The competition. Yeah, it's having people cheering your name and cheering you on, and just being at the races and talking to everyone, and that buzz before you race, and then after the race especially you go out and celebrate, and it's just a really good feeling, and that's something I really miss, and that's why I love going to the races, because you get that same buzz, you get to see other people race, you get to cheer them on, and the coaching, you get that same feeling. I mean, it's very normal for I think it's very healthy for an athlete to go into coaching. I think sometimes when they retire and just let it all go, that's a little bit dangerous sometimes. So I think it's really good that's the thing I miss, is the racing. So the number one thing I remember from the Olympics 2012 was the spectators. There was over 1 million people watching the race. And before the race we had planned to talk, communicate on the bike, but we realised when we were out there we couldn't actually even talk to each other because there were so many people screaming and shouting. And I think it's been like that ever since for most of the other Olympic events, especially the triathlon, because it's really popular. So that's something I'll never forget, and yeah, it's going to stay with me for the rest of my life. I think it will take him maybe a couple of years to win, because he obviously has to get his nutrition right, he has to get the training right, and his obviously the heat racing as well. It's not his strongest point. I mean, he's definitely, if the race had been in Ireland, the World Championships, he would have definitely won. But because it's in Hawaii, I think it's going to be quite hard for him to start with, but you can't put anything past Alistair. He will, because he's so clever and he's so determined, he'll just keep coming back until he gets the one thing he hasn't got, is IRONMAN World Championships. Oh yeah, obviously 70.3 as well, he's got second. I don't think he's won, but he will eventually win that one. But to win like everything, I think maybe only Jan Frodeno's done that one. Oh no, he didn't become world champion, did he, at triathlon? He was second. So so Alistair could be the only guy that does everything. So we'll see what happens. Oh, do you know what? The product's useful in everyday life, not just training. I mean, there's days where I don't do anything and I get cramps in my calves. So imagine all the people out there cramping just because they go to work, they come home. People don't have enough electrolytes in their bodies to stop themselves from cramping or feeling sick as well. Because sometimes people go, I feel sick, I feel nauseous, especially with a day like today. It's because they're dehydrated, and just drinking water is not good enough. You need salts and electrolytes. So it's important for training and for just living.